Resilient Queen, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are resilient, you are capable. You are not the scars, the hurt, or the pain. You are so much more, and you are more than enough. You have everything you need to level up, faith up, and bounce back into the ring of life. Come here, girl. Let me fix your crown. There you go. Looks good. Resilient Queen, let's go.
Welcome back to the Diary of a Resilient Queen. This is your girl Tony, and I am so excited to speak with you this week. Listen, this week is going to be just a message from my heart, a message from the time that me and God have spent together today, just our time, just some thoughts and messages around just where I've been lately when it comes to doing the hard things you have to do in life that you don't want to do. Being at that stage where it is difficult to be obedient, it is difficult to actually see things through. It is difficult to actually be the one who is just having that hard time. And I definitely understand because to be truthful, that is where I'm at. So, today we're going to be diving into a series called Doing the Hard Things. And with this series, I want you to know that you may be led to uncover the things that may be difficult and tough for you during this series. I don't know how long this series will be. I'm doing my best to answer to God in all of this and make sure that I'm taking things back to God and being able to be just as transparent, as humble, as open, as vulnerable as I can be um, at this stage because I know that this is part of my calling. I know that God is, just building me in this season to help women overcome their trauma, overcome the things that they need to overcome to walk fully in their calling, to walk fully in sharing their testimony. So that is where I'm going right now. And yes, it's hard because I have been battling, just doing the hard things that God is calling me to do. I've been battling that. And God is just so awesome that God's just, putting it heavy on my heart to share my testimony as I'm going through it. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's not the thing. It's not what I would expect myself to be doing right now when it comes to just my business, the ministry, my calling, what God needs me to do. It's hard. But at the end of the day, one thing about me is when God planted this idea of, just the diary of a resilient queen, when God gave me this, just this beautiful vision of resilience and what God needed his women, just the his daughters to see and just women to see, I knew at that moment that this wouldn't be something that was normal. This wouldn't be something that was just, I guess normal by society's eyes and society's views. This would be something that God would have to lead. This would be something that God would have to probably revamp at times. God would have to make the decisions, make the turns, make the transformations. And honestly, right now, I'm living that. So today we are talking about just allowing God to send you places and not being such a person that is not wanting to just let go. And I'm speaking from a testimony that actually happened to me, and it happened to me recently. And you never know. And let me first say this: you never know when you're going to be called to be used. And that's why your character, who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, you have to really be careful with that. You have to really be careful, especially when you're holding the weight of your calling, when you're holding on to something beautiful that God is going to use to help other people. You have to really make sure that you're doing the work that you need to do. So when God is ready to use you, you're showing up. You're not just mishandling the blessing. You're just not mishandling the calling, but you're actually ready for when God sends you. And in this instance, most recently, and let me tell you, your girl was ready. And I can only be ready because of God. When I was able to show up for someone when they needed me, to share my testimony and what I experienced in a certain stage and area of my life, I was able to share it because I've been there. I did it. It's done. God got me through. But at the same time, when I was at this, when I was explaining this situation, when I was helping my sister and God out with the situation, I could feel the spirit of, her being discouraged. I could feel the spirit of the unanswered prayers. I could feel all of that. But God just needed me to be right there. And it still blows my mind because so many times we're asking God, use me, put me in this position, let me be the one to help this person, let me do this, let me do that. And it can be in the most simplest way. And I could just remember this was on a Sunday where, usually, I'll go to church, I'll be doing this and I'll be doing that. And I remember, the many ways that I was trying to reschedule going to this thing. I remember the many ways where I was like, well, let me just pick a different day. Let me go ahead and show up here. Let me go ahead and do some things differently. But something in my spirit said, don't move, continue to go where you're going. And that's because I had to use that power of just discernment that my spirit felt that no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And everything that I talk about when it comes to overcoming trauma, everything that I talk about when it comes to being resilient and loving yourself and doing the work that you need to do and facing things and getting to that truth that only you could find in building a relationship with God, all of that came out in the most beautiful way, in multiple conversations, in multiple ways. And it just amazes me because sometimes we look for the glitter, sometimes we look for the gold, we look for the big stages, we look for the big things. But yes, those things shall come. Sometimes those things come to pass, but it's about what God is doing in your heart each and every day on this Christian journey. And a lot of times we forget about that because we're not seeing, what we thought we would have. We're not seeing the blessing turn out the way that we need it to turn out. And it's like we have to let go of that idea so that we can be who we're called to be every day in our journey and walk with God. And that's most important. And I know that it's easier said than done. I know it's hard. I know that when it's time for you to actually do what you're called to do, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard when you have to overcome some things that may have held you back in the past. It's hard. And that's one of my things that I have been living out, like, God, look at what you're doing to me. It's like, one song that keeps playing in my head is OMG by Tasha Cobbs. And it's because, oh my God, that's what I actually feel like. God, you be using these small moments to inspire me. I'm just a girl with some trauma, and God, you're turning all of that around for me. I'm able to use my testimony. I'm able to say things that I thought I would never get over. I'm able to use those same stories to help inspire other women. And it just shows you how, how faithful God is when you just give the little bit that God is telling you to give, to let go of the little bit that you holding on to let go and let God be God. It is okay to let go and let God be God. And let God send you. Let God send you where you need to go. Let God provide the way. Let God follow God's plan. I'm telling you, it still blows my mind to this day how amazing God is to me. It blows my mind because I'm like, God, I was just losing faith. God, I was just hurting. God, you heard your daughter's cry because I asked you one thing, but you supplied so many answers for me that I had been praying and asking about. So that is it right there, sis. That is it. Take everything in you, and there may be that one thing that you need to just release at this moment, so that God can send you where God needs to send you. Release it. Release the control. Release the unanswered um, prayers and questions. Release control of that, and know that God is going to provide you with the answers, with the insight, with the direction, with the strategy. God is going to provide you with all of that. And I know what it is to be a person who has had pain and who has had hurt and who has been traumatized. That I know that a lot of what happens to us goes into our behaviors, goes into our actions, goes into how we treat others. But I need you at this moment to do your best to release. Maybe it's going to take a lot of journaling. Maybe it's going to take you to schedule an appointment with a therapist. Maybe it's going to take you to reach out to a trusted mentor. Maybe it's going to take you to step out your comfort zone and start loving on yourself just a little bit extra more than you do on a regular. It's going to take some type of uncomfortable, hard thing to get to that place where, Lord, I'm just going to let this thing go. I don't know how it's going to be, but I have to because I need you to send me. Send me, God. Send me. Because there's something in what you're sending me to. And that's it. Send me. Thank you, Lord. Send me. Whether it's sending me back to heal with my past, whether it's sending me to help a friend, whether it's sending me to the uncomfortable place so that I can deal with some things and you can build my character, Lord, send me. Maybe it's sending me in an unorthodox way. Because let me tell you, I could, this Sunday that this happened, I could have been anywhere. I could have been in a church. I could have been doing my routine things. I could have been going through, let me get my week cleared out. But no, God had a plan. God needed me at that time to be the church. You needed instead of me, and it's crazy because I'm like, God, I'm supposed to be doing this today, but now I see why things are so unorthodox. I see why things are just different because show me you, like you're showing me you, God. You're showing me that it's nobody else, it's nothing else but you, God. Ah, oh God, and I feel that right now. Please, God, position us in that way that we know it is only you. Mm, mm, mm. So that is all I have for this week. And I cannot wait to finish this series. I'm so excited. It is taking everything out of me because I feel like I have been at just this uncomfortable stage where I have been doing the hard things. I have been saying yes to the no's. Um, I have been being obedient even though I feel uncomfortable. I have been walking with God, showing up even when I don't feel like it. So I definitely am being as transparent as I can be in this series. I'm being as open. I'm allowing God to lead the way. So until next time, I love you and keep your head high and your faith even higher. Love you, queens.